Coming to the stage at this time all the way from the south side of the building. Y'all give it up for Ebony and Ivory. Come on.
Whoa, what is
Look,
this?
She came out from behind. I love how the balloons are life-size for both of us. Yes,
yeah,
I love
they're
it.
pretty tall.
I think this one's a little taller than me.
Maybe like 5'6",
yes.
5'4".
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. This is,
man.
All right, welcome to Leader Lunch and Learn. Y'all glad to be here?
Learn.
Say that 3 times fast, all those L's. Hey, welcome. I'm sorry, I was corrected. It is Brunch and Learn because we are sophisticated here at Fellowship, so we wanted to give you brunch. We are so glad that you are here tonight, or this afternoon rather. My name is Justin, and this is an awesome young lady I'm introducing in just a second. This is Madison Offenbacher, our new young adult women's pastor. We are so glad that she is here with us. And so, hey, we are glad that you are here, and thank you so much for being a part of this. We're excited about what you're going to hear today. We're going to be talking about some amazing things, so definitely hang out with us for the next few moments. Just a quick show of hands. If you are a new leader, if you're a new D group leader, or maybe this is your first Lunch and Learn, could you just raise your hand? We want to acknowledge you if you're a new leader or this is your first Lunch and Learn. Yes, all right, let's give it up. All right, thank you so much. We're so excited that you're here. And to those of you watching online, thank you so much for joining us. Well, I want to give Madison a moment to introduce herself. Tell us a little bit about you. Again, we serve together in young adults, and so she is doing an amazing job. But tell us a little bit about yourself, Madison.
Yeah, well, hello, everyone. I'm Madison. I just started here at Fellowship February 1st, so it's been couple months now, but I'm married. My husband's name is Cord Offenbacher. He works for Downline Ministries in Little Rock, and we both graduated from Ouachita Baptist University. I'm currently studying at Midwestern Theological Seminary alongside Justin. He's doing that there too. So yeah, we have loved being at Fellowship. It's been a privilege just to serve here. So we just got a puppy. I guess that's been pretty exciting in our life, but yeah.
Well, we are so glad Madison is here. She has jumped in with both feet, and the girls love her. She has a great spirit, and I would love for you just to connect with her more. So if you're hanging out after and you have a young adult, or maybe you are a young adult and you haven't met her, would love for you to connect with her. And again, she is an alumni of some school y'all probably never heard of before, Ouachita. I know you've never heard of that school before. I think like 90% of our staff is a graduate of Ouachita. So, but we are so glad that she is here. We're so glad that you're here with us today. So over the past couple of Lunch and Learns, if you've been with us, we've been walking through different subjects. We've been looking at growing spiritually, what it means to grow spiritually in our D groups. We've been looking at what it means to live on mission. And today we're going to talk about building relationships. If you didn't already catch it, those are kind of the bedrock foundations of what we believe here at Fellowship that our D groups are made up of. It's growing spiritually, it's living on mission, and it's building relationships. We understand that relationships are not just cultivated, or created rather, but they're cultivated, right? We know that yes, relationships are great. We want to constantly be creating those, but they're cultivated over time. And so I want to do this just for show of hands. If you're in the room and your group has been together less than a year, can you raise your hand? If your group has been together less than a year, raise your hand. Okay. All right. Yep. All right. Great. If your group has been together 5 years or less, raise your hand. 5 years or less, okay? All right. What about 10 years or less? Okay. Anybody 20 years? 20 years. Okay. All right. There you go. So the whole point of what we're trying to get you to see is whether you've been connecting for a year, 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, relationship building is key and it is important. And these relationships need to be cultivated. We believe that, of course, Christ did not call us to live in isolation, but to call us to live in community. And so we do that by building relationships with one another. And so you're going to hear us talk about that throughout our time tonight. We're going to interview some different people who are a part of groups. and they're going to talk about how they've been building relationships. And we understand that, yes, asking you to build relationships and cultivate relationships during a global pandemic is not an easy ask. And we understand that that requires of us to do different things. But again, God is calling us not to isolation, but to community. And so even in the midst of all that we're experiencing, we know that community matters, and more now than ever, it is important to have a Christ-centered and a godly community. So Madison, you're gonna actually interview one of our young adult groups and one of our young adult guys who is gonna share more about building community and what that means to him.
Yeah. Everyone give a hand for Josh Davis heading to stage. Yes. So Josh is actually leading a group alongside his wife, Katie Davis. They just bought a house, right? So Katie is up to some cleaning and packing, is that right?
Yes.
Is it on? Oh, sorry, I want to switch right there.
There we go.
Nice.
Is that better?
Testing, testing.
Can you hear me?
Is it working? We'll pass it.
Yes, so we bought a house, and we actually moved into the house yesterday, and so Katie's cleaning our old house.
Wow, super exciting. Man, okay, so Josh, so how long have you guys been leading your D group that you're in right now?
So Katie and I have been leading for a very short time. We've actually only been leading for about 7 months now.
Nice. Okay, so how many people are in your group? What kind of group is it?
So we are a married young family, and I say young as in like newly married and a newly family. And so we have 12 members of our group at the moment.
Nice. Okay, so with a group of 12, were you guys open to adding more people to your group at the time?
So when we first took over the group, we only had 6 members in our group, and we were not open to adding more people at that moment.
Yeah, and so it sounds like, though, you guys ended up changing your minds, right? So you weren't open. And then tell us a little bit about what happened, because you guys ended up adding some couples. So tell us more about what that was like when you were not open and then you transitioned to feeling more open, how that came about.
Yeah, so that was definitely a God thing to us. When we first joined, we were super nervous about being leaders. We had never really kind of taken a step up to lead a group. We've always just been a part of one. So we were nervous of how we were going to be and how we were going to shepherd the other 2 couples in our group. But one of the couples came to us and asked, hey, we've got these friends that are newly involved in the church. They want to get re-involved, and they need a community to be a part of, and we just couldn't say no. There was no way that we were going to be able to turn them away and just say no.
Yeah. So with that, a lot of us in here, maybe our groups are open, maybe our groups are closed, maybe some people are sitting here and you're not open to letting some new people join. So when that kind of situation arises, when new people are joining, what kind of things did you guys do to make those new ones feel comfortable joining your group?
So the practice we kind of took is we like to meet with the couples that are going to visit our group beforehand, whether it's grab lunch, grab a coffee, whatever. And we sit down and we talk with them about kind of what our expectations are within our group. And then they get a chance to know who Katie and I are as people, and we get to know them. And so that they've got not a fresh face, but they know somebody that they're going to walk into and recognize when they come and first visit our group.
Yeah, definitely. That's huge for them, like you said, to be able to recognize someone coming to their group. So last question. This was kind of on the spot just off what you said. But what encouragement maybe would you give to these fellow D group leaders if they're in that spot where they're trying to think about if they should welcome someone new into their group that might be pretty established? What encouragement would you give them in considering that?
I always say yes. Like I said, we were a hard no until we just couldn't say no anymore. So just be open to saying yes. The 2 couples that we have added have brought a lot of encouragement, a lot of joy, and a new perspective from the group that we had. So they've been a true blessing to us.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. Everyone give it up for Josh Davis sharing today. We are glad for their D group. Thanks, Josh.
Absolutely. Thanks, Josh. And hey, we're going to transition to our next segment. But can we pray for Josh and Katie's group real quick? Father, thank you so much for what you're doing in and through Josh and Katie and just the amazing couples that they're being able to impact, the generations that are being touched through them. We thank you for so many other groups like them, Lord, whether they've been connected for 20 years or, as they said, 7 months. We thank you that you are actively drawing people to this church as they seek to build long-lasting relationships together. Give them strength and wisdom and insight and grace to do what you've called them to do and to shepherd and to love these people in their groups well. We love you, God, and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, well, we're going to transition to our next segment. And so here's what's going to happen. The lights are going to go down. We're going to give them some walk-on music because they are so cool. And today we're having a good time. So hopefully you didn't eat too much and you're not too full because we got a game that we're going to play too. And we've got some prizes. So definitely look out for that. For those of you who are watching, you're not going to get a prize, but you should have been here. But the prize is you get to watch, and we're so glad that you're here. All right, so here's what we're going to do. So the lights are going to go down, and our next two presenters are going to come up. All right? Y'all give it up for Dr. Dan, the feel-good man.
I feel like you should break dance right now. Come on.
Woo, Jason, a.k.a. Woody Harrelson.
I have a bum knee, so I can't. Come on, man. All right, guys. All right. Hey, here's what we're going to need you to do. We are the directors of fun, okay? And so we are going to have some fun. We're going to take you back to your youth group days, all right? So everybody go ahead and stand up. We are going to play a little game, and I like to say it like this: ultimate catchphrase, okay? All right, so this is not just catchphrase. This is ultimate catchphrase, all right? And so we are going to split up in just a moment and play this around the room. And so we're going to get you guys, we're going to play men versus women, all right? So guys, let's represent, all right? Can I get like a hoo, hoo, hoo? Some, maybe, okay.
Let's go, ladies. You guys got
ladies,
this. Come on, ladies.
What do y'all got? All right, okay. So how many people, show of hands, probably most of us in the room, have played catchphrase before? Raise your hand. Anybody not played catchphrase ever before? Raise your hand. Don't be ashamed. You're still loved and you're still valued, okay? All right, it's okay. We're about to educate you. All right, so I'm going to go through the rules very quickly for those who have not. But also there's some new rules. There's a twist on ultimate catchphrase, right? Okay, so we're going to play 7 rounds. The object is you're going to hit a button on here that kind of gives you a category. Then you're going to get a word. You have to get the people on your team to guess your word, okay? You don't want to be holding this game unit when the buzzer sounds. Every round is 90 seconds. If you're holding it, guys, the ladies are going to get a point, all right? The ladies are holding it, guys are going to get a point. And we've gone old school on here. It's no longer digital. If you've played this game in the past, you remember there used to be a little voice, like you press the score button and it'd say, Team 1 gets 1 point and has 3 points. You remember that little voice? So that's not on here. You're just gonna move the little ticker right here. It's just like foosball, okay? It's like foosball. Keep score on that. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play 7 rounds. Every round is 90 seconds. Now here's a twist in the new ultimate catchphrase. Sometimes people get stuck and they can't get anybody to guess the clue. After 15 seconds, if you have not got them to guess the word, it'll beep 3 times and it'll say pass to your teammate. And so then you just pass it to anybody on your team. And we're gonna play the socially distanced version so that you can kind of do this, okay? Kind of like a Frisbee, all right, is kind of what we're doing. I'm so glad I caught that. I kind of pushed it down. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break up around the room, try to get even number, and no more than 10 people in a group. And we've got plenty of spots all around. So go ahead and get a groups of 8 or 10 or 12, something like that. 5 guys, 5 girls. And then once you get in a circle, all right, then send somebody up here to grab one of the game units. One thing I forgot before you move. There are some do's and don'ts, all right? The do is you can use any gesture that you want. You can use almost any verbal clue, but you cannot say the first letter of the word, okay? So if it's poinsettia, you can't say it starts with a P, and you can't say it rhymes with. You can't be like, it rhymes. It starts with a P and rhymes with loinzetta.
Yeah.
Loinzetta. You know, don't say that, okay? And if there's two words like banana split, you can't say like, it's a banana that's divided, okay? You can't say banana because that's part of the word, all right? Got it? That's the do's and the don'ts. Here we go. Take a minute, hurry, find your circle, find your little group. All right, here we go.
Come on up and get your catchphrase game unit. If you're running short on guys or ladies in your group, divide up a different way. You have the freedom to do that, Dirk.
We've got 3 more games up front. Hey, when you get your circle, raise your hand so we know you're ready. When you get your circle, raise your hand. We got y'all ready? Hey, ready? Y'all ready? So go ahead and pick your category. That's the button on the left. Pick a category. We're going to say the team with the person who has the largest hands gets to go first, okay? Largest hands gets to go first. And we're all going to start at the same time. All right, Tyler, can we bring the music down a little bit, man? Because they're going to need to hear each other. They're going to need to hear each other. Is everybody ready? Everybody got your category set? That's the button on the left. If you have a question, let us know, okay? Yes, okay. If you've already started, that's fine. If you haven't, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Take about 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes. Keep score. All right, go ahead and play your last round. Last round right now. Oh, I think the guys won. The guys win right here. All right. If you're finished, so we got over here, we got the guys won. Anybody finished? Anybody else finished? You're out. That's right. That's right. Go ahead and hang on to it. Go ahead and hang on to it. All right, here's the deal. Winning team. We got the guys right here. Y'all stay in your groups for a second. Right here, who won? Guys or girls? The girls won here. That's 1-1. Guys, girls. The guys. Okay, guys. This is ladies, so it's 2-2. The ladies won. The ladies 4-2. The girl. Oh man!
My goodness.
The women are dominant. Give yourselves a hand, ladies. Okay, now the shortest person on the winning team gets to keep catchphrase right there. You have earned a prize. So if you are the shortest person on the winning team, you're taking home ultimate catchphrase.
All right.
Way to go. Give yourselves a hand.
All right. Go ahead and find your seats again. Find your place back again as we bring this back together. Great job playing Ultimate Catchphrase, guys. That was a lot of fun. While you're finding your seats, I want to speak to the people online. Thank you for being with us today. We have Bethany Duncan up here on the chat. So if you're online, would you go ahead and write your name in the chat so we know you're here with us today? Bethany would love to interact with you on the chat so we know you're here. And we have some questions coming up that you guys will be able to interact with too. So Bethany, you let us know here on stage if anybody's asking any questions, okay? All right, so you may be thinking, what is the point of playing catchphrase here at D Group Leader Lunch and Learn? Is it just to have fun? Well, yes, it is, but also no, there's a bigger purpose to it. So our whole point for our D groups here at Fellowship, we want groups to live on mission together, to grow spiritually together, and to build relationships. So how does a game or an activity like catchphrase help build relationships? And so that's what we want to talk about here a little bit. This goes directly towards one of our main values here at Fellowship of connection, right? We want to know God and know others, and we also want God to know us and others to know us as well. So maybe some kind of game or activity like this, Icebreakers, can help us get to know our other group members. You know, with our small groups, we want to build community at each and every one of our small group meetings, and we also want to have fun. And that having that fun can really help us build those relationships. So here's what we're going to do right now. We're going to talk about that a little bit, what you experienced in your game, in your group, and I'm going to bring 5 people up on stage. So I need 5 volunteers to come up on stage. We're going to have a little panel up here and allow you to kind of discuss some questions here in front of everybody about playing that game. And I can see you guys are rushing the stage. Here, let me sweeten the deal a little bit. If you come up here on stage, you get a $10 Starbucks gift card, okay? I need 5 volunteers to come up here that are willing to discuss. I'm going to have to start calling names. And you guys, come on, Shelby. I need 4 more people to come up here on stage. All right, Robert Irons, look at this. Here's the proof. They haven't even said anything yet, and I'm giving them a card. Come on over here into the light. All right, we got 1 more. We got Allie. Come on, Allie. Come on up here into the light so people can see you. 2 more. My mother-in-law is coming up, Janice Hose. Everyone give her a round of applause. And 1 more. Let's get 1 more in here. I'm going to close my eyes and blindly pick. Ooh, here we go. Gary Jones. All right, come on up, Gary. Yeah, somebody up here said your name. I'm not going to say who it was, but Robert, thank you for nominating Gary. That was awesome. Yeah, Gary, you're up here. Do we give him a card because he was voluntold? Here you go, Gary. Why don't you guys move down so you're all in the light so everybody online can see you as well. I'm going to ask some questions, and Jason's just going to pass the mic for you guys, okay? So as you're thinking about playing this game in your small group, we have some questions. And where's the first question here? Here we go. Playing in your group today, what did you learn about somebody playing this game that you didn't know already? So think about the group you were playing with. What's something you learned about somebody you didn't know already? Break the ice, Allie.
I learned that somebody got a lot more sleep than I did last night. We have a new baby at home, by the way.
There you go, new baby at home, but you learned that someone doesn't have a new baby at home.
That's right.
That's right.
I learned that some people don't play by the rules even after they're just told them. But that's okay. That's okay.
Good one.
I learned that when you're competing, it doesn't matter who wins.
Okay, all right, so let's move on to the next portion of that question. I know, Robert, he's feeling a little left out. Let's give Robert a hand of applause for that. With that, how do you think that this game might be able to be used in your small group, your own small group that meets at your house or weekly to kind of help build relationships? How could this game be used for that?
Okay, so our D group actually does play catchphrase quite a bit. So it's really good when everyone comes in, you just grab catchphrase, you pass it around. It's just a really good icebreaker. Even when you've already been together for a few years, it gets people laughing. It just gets people more relaxed, and then it helps them to open up during discussion. And that is one thing that we learned from our previous D group leaders, and we've kept it going in our now D group that we lead.
Awesome. Anybody else? Thanks for sharing that, Shelby. How could what you just did with your group here be used in your D group?
For our D group, we do not have any problem filling time. So this would not be something that we did on like a weekly basis for just coming and meeting, because we have kids and we're trying to be consider everybody's time during babysitters, all that jazz. So we do meet once a month to do just a dinner as a group at somebody's house, and this will be an appropriate time for us to kind of collaborate and get to know each other during that time with this game.
That's awesome, Allie. Thank you for that. And so the next question I have on the screen right here, in what ways could a game like this be used to actually help a D group grow deeper together? So we're taking it down to the next level, and I'm glad you handed the mic to the elder. That's a very smart move, the elder on this stage. How could we use a game or an activity like this to grow deeper together?
Well, I think our D group usually does a pretty good job of praying for one another and sharing each other's struggles and all those things. But it's just fun to laugh together and enjoy common ground, and playing games where everyone can be competitive and contribute to the game. So I think that's a good team building exercise, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think also just in any kind of group situation or dynamics, it gives you an opportunity to be a little vulnerable and be laughed at and be laughed with, and kind of lets some of those outward things kind of drop so that, you just can relax a little bit and people get to know you on a different level.
Mine's very similar to his. I was thinking sometimes we give forth the wrong idea about who we are and that we're always so serious, and sometimes it's just good to be a ham and show that you're not stuffy. Dan.
That's good. All right, I'm going to make you put your D group leader thinking hats on now for this next question. The next question is, how could you leverage this game or exercise to promote that vulnerability in your D group that you were just talking about? There are no right or wrong answers. You just get to talk.
So we actually played catchphrase with our D group a couple weeks ago, and we had a new couple, and one guy didn't really know how to play. I don't think he really got the concept of it, and so we weren't able to guess anything from him. But, and so that brings out a vulnerable side in you, right? When you just can't accurately play a game that everyone else is playing, that's bound to bring up some vulnerabilities. But then that night, he was just sharing more than he's ever shared before. So I don't know if maybe he was already feeling that vulnerability and it was just easier, or he just felt, because we were yeah, you can do it, it's no problem. And our D group we like games, so we tried to tone it down, just to let him know that we didn't care if he didn't play the game. It didn't matter who was gonna win. But then he just shared more, and so I think opening up and letting him know that we were not going to judge him for playing this game, and maybe that helped let him know that we weren't going to judge him later in the evening either.
I think also just kind of following on what you said, the other side of that too is that sometimes we're hesitant to answer or even to come up on stage because we're going to do something dumb or we're going to seem out of place, and then maybe we're too much concerned about, am I going to give the right answer? And sometimes, when you play a game, I didn't get the game right at all. I answered on the girls and guys. And more for the girls than I did for the guys. So, you might get a wrong answer in something you say. Maybe you don't worry about that as much when you realize the group's going to accept you. I believe mine did. Accept you even if you don't quite get it right every time.
That's good. Gary? She said he was the best girl on their team.
But I'm not gender confused, though, okay?
I think, first of all, joining a new D group feels risky. I think being in a group, answering questions, being vulnerable is risky. And playing a game like this, I think we all have kind of that fear of failure, like Robert said. But, perfect love casts out fear. And so if you're in a group, what a better setting, safe setting to be willing to fail and be willing to be vulnerable and do something that, frankly, you're probably not very good at. And just to be able to laugh with each other and at each other is healthy.
That's right. That's good. Okay, last question. All right, we'll take it one step lower. How could you use this to highlight how God is working in the lives of people in your group? In good ways and in the hard ways. How could you use a game like this to highlight how God is working in your group? See, I didn't tell them we were going to have hard questions like this when they come on stage.
Well, you know, the body is made up of all kinds of people, all kinds of abilities, and some of us know how to work that little machine, and some of us don't. And we avoid it like the plague, don't want to touch it. Others are really adept at doing these things. And so it kind of shows that we're all needed. I may be able to make a great dessert, but somebody else might be able to lead in that game really well. And we're all needed. God wants to use us all no matter, where we're placed.
Good.
For us, we're working on marriages in our group, and it's very apparent when you're playing this in couples and they're interacting with each other, and if one gets them wrong, if they're yelling at the other person, or if they're making fun of them, however they're interacting. And you can usually tell what's happening within a marriage when you're playing a game in a group atmosphere. And so when we've been in this type of environment with a game, and we've seen a couple struggle, and then we've also prayed for that couple, or we've been pushing them to do things in their marriage, go on date nights, etc., and then we do these activities within our group, we can see, hey, God's working, they're interacting a lot better with each other today. Because if we come to our group, we just sit down, we ask questions, we read the Bible, we cover our material, whatever it is, and we don't really see that, because they can sit down and put on a face, but when you pull out somebody's personality, you can see that work.
Way to read between the lines, Allie. That's great. Why don't you guys give them all a hand for being up here? They did such a great job. It's hard to come up here when you're not used to it. Thank you guys very much. That's what we're going for with these games. When you play a game or an icebreaker, we want you guys as D group leaders to take it to that next level. Be intentional with the games that you're playing. Building relationships, but looking for ways to push to that next level of vulnerability and even spiritual growth through games like that. Look for those ways. So did any questions come in from online or any comments? No? Well, the next segment, you guys have a chance to answer. You have a chance to win one of these prizes. So I want to hear you guys coming in from online, and we are ready for the next portion.
Yeah, so I think the lights are going to come down. We're going to have some music here. It's very dramatic, isn't it? Very dramatic. And now, put your hands together and make some noise. That's you guys. For the dynamic duo, Amy Scrivenos and Carrie Carter.
All right. Wow, that's the best introduction I've ever gotten in my life.
I know. That's so exciting. Wow. Yeah. So as Jason said, I'm Amy Scrivenos, and I lead our women's ministry here along with Carrie Carter.
Yeah, we run the women's ministry programs here together, and I've been on staff here for about 2 years, and Amy's been here a little bit longer than that, but we are so happy to be here with you today. And like Dan said, we want to invite you into another little activity here. And if you are online, this is the perfect place for you to jump in. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask some questions of you guys, and we need your feedback on some different questions that we have going here. Okay, so Amy, you've got the first one for us.
Yes, I do. Okay, so the first question is, who has lived in the most cities? So we're going to start with, raise your hand if you've lived in 3 or more cities. Raise your hand if you lived in 3 or more cities. Okay, so quite a few of you.
A lot of people.
Okay, keep your hand up if you've lived in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
We still got a few.
Okay, I want to see who all we've still got. We've got one back here, one right here, one over here, here. Am I missing anybody? That was 4. Okay, 10.
We still got at least 2.
We've got 3 here.
3.
Okay, 11. All right, we got 2. 12. Right here.
Oh.
Okay.
Bethany,
Jason,
we got
if you
anybody
could take
online that could be 12?
Microphone. Yeah, did anyone from online respond? Okay, right back against the brick wall, Jason. All right. I can't quite see you because of the light, but if you could name for us the 12 cities you have lived in.
Bellflower, Cypress, Anaheim, Gridley, Friedland, Langley, Clinton, North Little Rock, Sherwood, St. Louis. I've lost count. I don't know where I am.
Wow.
Wow, that is awesome. Thank you. Okay, so she's going to win a pack of story cards, and we're going to explain a little bit more about those here in just a few minutes and what these story cards are.
Yeah, next question. Who has had the worst first job? Okay, think about that for a minute. Think about your first job. Anybody have like a really bad first job? Okay, we want to hear from you. So think about it. Raise your hand. We got a first job back here.
My first job was working for Sears and Roebuck making Easter baskets, and then I got a very horrible Easter bunny outfit that I had to parade around the store with. And give out candy. The children were mostly afraid of me.
Yes.
That is a good one.
That's a good one. And who knows who had been in that Easter bunny outfit before you. Okay, we had another one back here on the corner.
My first job was going into the truck tire retreading business. And if you're going to be in that business, you got to know about truck tire retreading. It's very hot, okay? You go in these chambers that are 180 degrees. You open the door and you go in with gloves on. I lost 20 pounds in about 30 days. So that was my first management training job.
Nice. Wow. Retreading truck tires. Who else? Who else had a really bad first job? Keith?
My first job was at Long John Silver's, and I was a cook. And so you cooked in front of like 3 vats, 3 inches deep. They were like 2.5 by 2.5 feet. And you cooked, fish, chicken, hush puppies all night long. And you had like a fire retardant shirt on and like this visor. And like literally at the end of the night, you would take the visor off and like you had this like cone head looking thing of just grease in your hair. And I was in high school, so like I didn't go out and like hang out with friends. And they'd be like, dude, what do you smell? I'm like, been behind grease all night long. So yeah, it was nasty.
So you must have met Natasha after you had a Long John Silver's job.
Awesome. Okay, we have one from online.
Yeah. All right, we got one online.
Okay, I have one. I'm speaking on behalf of Bryn May. And they had to sand drawers all day in a sewing machine cabinet factory.
Ooh.
So
if you've ever had to sand
I bet that was a lot of sawdust everywhere.
Yeah, enough said. Anybody else? A really bad first job. We got one over here. Run, Jason, run.
So this was back in high school, but I was responsible for sweeping out the chicken poop in a chicken house.
That's a bad job.
I caught chickens too in South Arkansas.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
So chicken business.
Ooh. All right, anybody else? Last chance on a really bad first job. If you think you can beat one of those. Okay, here's what we're going to do. For the prize on this one, we're going to take a quick vote, okay? So let me recap for you. We got Easter Bunny, we got Tire Treads, Long John Silver's, Drawer Factory Sanding, and Sweeping Up Chicken Poop, okay? So think about which one you want to vote for. We're going to have a quick a little trying to get you to vote for him back there. We're going to have a quick vote, just about a show of hands. So let's vote for the Easter Bunny. Who thinks the Easter Bunny was the worst, okay? Tire retreading. You got a few votes, not quite as many as Easter Bunny. Long John Silver's. Ooh, I think that's the winner so far. Drawer sanding. We got a couple of votes for that. And chicken poop. Okay, we're going to have a revote between Long John Silver's and Sweeping Up Chicken Poop. Long John Silver's, that's a lot of votes. And chicken poop. Holy smokes, I'm calling it a tie. Way to go, guys. Way to go. Yeah, give them both one of the story cards.
Great job. Okay, next question. Similar to the first one. Who has traveled to the most countries? Layovers don't count unless you left the airport. Okay,
this is a harder one. This takes a little bit of
minute
thought.
and think about it, because some of you have traveled a lot. You're going to need to think about it. and you're gonna need to be able to name them. So, okay, if you have traveled to 3 or more countries, raise your hand. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Man, we got some travelers in here.
9, 10. Are we at 10? Raise your hands if you're still up at 10. Okay. 11?
Oh, we still got in the back here,
Oh,
too.
we're back here. Okay.
11?
11? All right. I think we have 11
oh,
back
we still
here.
got 2 with 11.
Oh, I can't see with the lights. Yes, okay. 12. 13. 14. All right. 14 it is.
Let's hear it.
Woohoo! All right, Jason's going to travel back there with the microphone.
Yeah, let's hear them all.
Okay, because I cannot really see back there, tell us your name and tell us why you've traveled to so many countries, what's taken you to so many countries, and then name some of them for us.
Okay, my name is Winsor Williams, and what caused me to go to so many countries, I was in the United States Air Force for 26 years.
Awesome. That is awesome.
I'll start with the Western Hemisphere.
All right.
I've been to Canada. I've been to the United States. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Costa Rica. I've been to the country of Panama. I've been to Colombia. I've been to Brazil. I've been to Argentina. I've been to Chile. I've been to Belize. I've been to Jamaica. Let's see where else in the Western Hemisphere. Did I say Peru? Nope. Peru. Let's see, Bolivia. That's pretty much it for that. Let's go to the Orient. I've been to Japan. I've been to, well, Guam is really the United States. I can't count them. I've been to, let's see, Australia. And I've been to Vietnam, and I've been to Korea. Going to Europe, I've been to France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Holland, Finland, Africa. I've been to Kenya, been to Senegal, been to the French Ivory Coast, been to Madagascar's in South. But anyway,
wow.
That's all I can think of right now.
Wow.
That's impressive right there.
Does anybody else feel like he might have named more than 13? That was a lot of countries. Windsor, we appreciate your service, and thanks for sharing those.
All right, last question. Last question. This is a little easier, I promise. Who has been at fellowship the shortest amount of time? Okay? So let's start, since you're leaders, we know that you're not probably like brand new to the church. So let's start with 2 years. Who's been here at fellowship for 2 years or less? Bethany. Okay, let's go up. You don't get to count in this game. Oh, over here. We got one here and another one in the back. Okay? 1 year or less. You guys are out on that one.
It's Bernadette.
Okay, how long have you been here?
I started attending last January.
Okay, like January as in, what month
Well,
is this?
it was probably like the end of January, beginning of February.
January of 2020.
Of this year?
Of
last year. Okay,
January
can you
of
guys beat
2020.
that? No. Great. Our newest member of fellowship, she gets a pack of the story cards.
Yeah, let me just real quick, because I know Bernadette. Bernadette moved here in the middle of the pandemic from California and instantly jumped into everything that she could here at Fellowship to get connected. And quickly, we got to know one another, and Bernadette stepped in and started leading a women's group as well. So I have just loved seeing her do that and the way that she has just jumped in and just started serving where God has her.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of fellowship and serving here. So I just want to take a minute and we want to tell you about a couple of resources that you can use to help build relationships in your group. And first are these story cards that we have been handing out. And you can order these like in their actual physical form, but I also want to show you there's a digital version of these cards, and you can download this app. It's called the Anthology app. It's put out by North Point Ministries out of Georgia. You can download the app. They also have just a website that's anthology.study. But on that app, there is a virtual format of these story cards. And so when you open the app, you'll see down there on the left picture there, you see at the bottom, there's a story cards tab or section that you can go to. And then if you tap on that image that says story cards, what you get is that middle screen. And you'll see an example of one of the story cards, that hang glider. So what you would do is you lay out those cards maybe on your coffee table or wherever your group meets, and you would just ask your group a question. You might say, hey, pick a picture that represents what your week has been like this week. Or pick a picture that represents how you've been feeling this week, or where you are in your relationship with God, or something that made you laugh. Or you can ask multiple questions, and in the deck, there are actually suggestions of questions if you need some ideas for some questions. And so I might pick up that hang glider picture, and I might say, you know what? I have felt really peaceful this week. It's been a really good week. Things have been going smoothly, and I've just felt God's peace this week. Or I might pick up that picture and say, man, I have just felt really lonely this week. And that is just a great way for you to get your group talking, for you to get your group sharing on funny topics and funny questions, but also serious and more in-depth questions. And so those are pictures of what that looks like in the app. Again, like I said, you can order these cards in the physical form and have those as well, but they are a great resource. Amy, you've got another one for us.
Yeah, another version of this would be an app called Questions in a Box. And we've got a screen up here that kind of shows you what that app looks like, but it's just called Questions in a Box. You can download it to your phone. And what's cool about this is it has 4 different categories that you can choose from of questions. So it has We Just Met, Acquaintances, Good Friends, and Big Picture. So you can choose kind of what category, what type of questions you want to ask for your group, but it's super easy just to download that app and pull it up and use those in your group to kind of get some questions like this going. And so part of what we wanted to talk about today, let's go back to as we were answering these questions, as we were asking these here in the room. Think about what we learned about other people today. Can somebody tell us something that you learned about someone else in the room from the game that we played today, asking those questions? You can
We'll
just
put
raise your
Jason
hand.
and Dan back on their running assignments. Raise your hand. Tell us one thing you learned about someone from the question that they answered. Anybody? We learned a lot about Windsor, right? A lot of traveling that he served in the Air Force. What else did we learn? Remember we talked about how many cities you've lived in.
Y'all can just shout them out.
How long you've been at fellowship. Yeah, up here, Dan.
The multiple jobs people have had, different jobs, like we all had our first job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. It's fun to learn those things about people, right? I mean, I guarantee it's probably never come up in your D group that you swept chicken poop, right? But it's kind of a fun thing to know about you. It's kind of fun. So we just wanted to give you those examples today of just ways that you can engage your group. We asked this group of one of my Bible study leaders this year, and my question was, who had a horrible disaster at their wedding? Well, one of the things we found out about her is she thought she'd been married, and 10 years later, she found out that they had 2 pastors that married them, and each thought the other filed their wedding license, marriage license. 10 years later, they find out nobody ever filed their marriage license. And so, that's been a fun thing for us to just talk about and kid about, even after we had that discussion. So these questions are just a great way for you to fulfill one of your roles as a D group leader, which is to help facilitate building relationships in your group. So I hope this has been helpful to you today, just to give you some resources. Again, you got the story cards, physical form, you can download that Anthology app or go to the website, anthology.study. There are apps like Questions in a Box. And we just hope that that's helpful to you today.
Yeah, thank y'all for participating with us. We're going to invite Justin back up here to close us.
Thank you all so much for sharing. I hope we're going to wrap up just in a few minutes, but I hope that you've enjoyed yourself. I know that this has been more of a lighter and funny lunch and learn, but we have enjoyed just being able to connect with you and to share these games. Again, I enjoyed hearing the stories. Keith, I don't think I'll ever eat at Long John Silver's ever again. I don't know. That kind of did it for me. But we are so glad that you are here tonight. We pray that you take advantage of the resources. And even if you don't use that game, there are a variety of ways that you can connect in your groups as you continue to learn together, as you continue to laugh together. I know it seems simple, but the Bible does say that laughter is medicine to the soul. And so we want to continue doing that in building relationships. As we leave, may we be reminded, I read this quote the other day as we were kind of preparing for this particular lunch and learn, and it just said this, that in relationships we get a chance to create space where we can take the mask off that people are afraid to live without and ashamed to live with. And so we want to create space for that. So whether your group has been together for 7 months or a year or 17 years or 20 years, we know that we have an opportunity to build long-lasting relationships. And so continue to do that. May we also say that if for some reason you have been building relationships and connecting and your group is getting so large that you need to multiply, talk to one of our D group pastors. We would love to walk with you through that because we know that God is constantly building and expanding our ministry, and so we want to make sure that we can serve as many people as we can for the glory of God. So again, on behalf of our entire adult discipleship team, we want to say thank you for being here. Before you leave, we want to encourage you. We know that it is kind of our custom here at the church during the summertime to take a break in meeting from our D groups on a regular rhythm, but we would lovingly encourage you to continue connecting through game nights, through barbecues, through hanging out, whatever you need to do. I know that the summer will look different for people. Some of you may be wanting to go on vacation together. Some of you have already got your vacations planned already. But make sure that you're connecting in some way through the summertime. The space here will be available on campus. You can use the outside spaces as well. If you need help with that, please talk to one of us on the adult discipleship team. We want to make sure that we can help you with that as well. So again, if you can, please don't just take a break and separate completely during the summer, but keep connecting with each other. Stay connected so that you can jump back in the fall. Also, we're asking that you would mark your calendars for the last Sunday in August. I believe that's the 29th, August 29th. We will have a leader launch. So to those of you who have been a leader at our church, you know what that is. But to those of you who are new, that is an amazing opportunity after our Vision Sunday service where we get to really unpack the vision that has been cast from our teaching pastors here at a D group level. So you don't want to miss that. We'll have food. We'll have a night of worship after that. So we would love for you to be a part. So please mark your calendars for that. That is the last Sunday of August. All right. So we're so excited. Thank you all for being here. And I think that's all that I need to know. Yes. All right. Well, all hearts and minds are clear. Hey, let me pray for you as you leave. And I think we've got some food left over, so you can feel free to grab some of that. It's first come, first serve. So if you get over there and it's gone, I'm just sorry. Jason ate all of it. So yes. All right. Let me pray for you. Father, thank you for the opportunity that we have to gather together. Thank you for these amazing leaders. Whether they have been leading for 7 months, 17 years, 7 years, or 20 plus years, thank you for the hearts that they have to lead, to shepherd, to co-lead alongside their other leaders, those that are in their group. Thank you for those that you're sending to their groups, whether they're new people to the church or new people to their group. Thank you for those that you're consistently sending who desire to be in community and in relationship. Thank you for the importance of community and relationship, that even in a time when our world is being forced to be distant and disconnected, you call us to come together and to make sure that we don't disconnect from one another. So, Father, thank you for the mandate. Thank you for the call to community. We pray strength over these leaders. For those who have had to lead through the pandemic and the challenge of Zoom and all of those nuances and having to distance and figure out where to meet and when to meet and how some of them may be weary. So, Father, I pray that you would give them strength, that you would give them fresh insight and vision. And maybe some of them may need to just take a break for a minute and pause and refuel. So, Lord, we thank you that we want to give them space to do that. For those who are just coming on board, we pray that you would give them wisdom and insight and vision on where to take their group. And, Lord, that we as D Group pastors would be able to come alongside them and shepherd them and care for them as they go and do what you've called them to do. Thank you for the mission and the vision of this church as we seek to make disciples by God's grace and for his glory, who live by your grace and for your glory at home and across the world. We thank you for these leaders. We thank you for their groups. Thank you for this adult discipleship team. We pray even for our leader, Jay McGurk, who's not here. Pray that you would just continue to give he and his family strength. Thank you for the leadership that he gives to our team and to our leaders. We love you, God, and we praise you. In Jesus' name, amen. Love y'all. Have a great, great week. Get some more of that brunch if you can, and have a great Sunday. We'll see you next time. Don't forget, mark your calendars. Leader launch last Sunday in August. We'll see you then. God bless.